Today in the Diz List, we fill out an application for Walt Disney World.
Welcome to the Diz List, the podcast that lists everything at Walt Disney World. I'm Nick.
And I'm Rob, and today we're going to talk about, despite exactly what I said at the beginning, we're still keeping our current jobs, but we talked about, you sent me a list.
Yes.
I was a little busy this weekend. We'll get to that in a minute. But you sent me a long list of some great ideas that we some we have, some we haven't done yet.
Yep.
And one of them was, what was a Disney World job that you would want to do?
Yeah.
And I was like, that's really cool. So I sent you back, I don't know, 4 or 5 that I was like, these are great. Let's do these now. So that's kind of what we do. You know, either we'll touch base during the week or we'll text back and forth what our different lists were.
Yeah, it was a busy week. So
we're not actually filling out. I mean, someday, who knows? Maybe. I mean, I've kind of always had that on my bucket list of something I would like to do. We will see. We'll see what happens. Yeah. I'm a little closer to retirement than you by a couple of years, but
just by a couple. Yeah.
But who knows?
You had an amazing day yesterday. I know. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there.
Yes, happy Father's Day.
Today's Father's Day, and you got a great Father's Day gift.
Yes, and if you are a mother or a mom or a lady with a great father or a husband or a grandfather, happy Father's Day to them too.
Yes.
Pass that along from us.
Yes. What was your gift?
My gift? We didn't do any yet because my kids are not here.
No, what was the gift you got yesterday?
Oh, I did get a gift yesterday.
It's a pretty cool gift.
Yes. So, I said to Nick in a text, I said, I hope someday you get to experience this.
I've experienced what you experienced.
You have as a coach.
As a coach.
Right.
I've not experienced it as a parent.
Right. So my son runs track. Mm-hmm. And he was part of 2 different relay teams that competed again in the New York State track finals. Yeah. And they ended up winning.
Yeah.
That's so cool. There's 2 different races. They didn't win the one, but they won the other.
He turned left best.
He did. He turned left as fast as he could. Yeah. But they won. So him and his 3 teammates are state champions. That's very, very cool.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it's a cool feeling. We had how many total? 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 athletes who competed from our school district.
Yeah, it was
great.
Cool. Yeah.
Proud dad. That was a great early Father's Day gift.
Absolutely.
For me.
Experiencing that level of like a tournament, because I've done it 3 times at the state level for
baseball and soccer, right?
Yeah.
You went for both.
Yes, we went to state finals twice for baseball and once for soccer. And
I did not go to I went to your soccer one. That one was in Cortland.
Yes.
I was at that game.
Yeah.
The baseball ones I did not go to.
Yeah,
I saw a lot of your games leading up to it, but I didn't go to that one.
So I know it's just a cool atmosphere.
Yes. Win or lose, you can say I'm a state finalist or champion.
The emotion's crazy. It's just a really fun time. And the kids that do that, they will have that memory for the rest of their lives. It's amazing. I'm really happy for your son. Very happy for you guys. It's pretty cool.
The last thing I'll say about it, for the last lap with the 4th boy. Did you get to see it?
I watched it. Yeah.
So he was behind, not by quite a bit.
I mean, he was. I would estimate it to be 70 yards.
Yes. So this last boy was behind by quite a bit, and we were kind of like, well, I guess it's possible. So within like a minute's time, we went from, maybe, to, oh my God, we might win, to, oh my God, we just won the state championship. In 1 minute, it changed so quickly.
Well, he caught up the 70 yards with the lead guy.
Yeah.
By probably about 50 to go. Yeah. I will say, I don't know if you knew this, but if you listen to that video, that guy that was in the lead that he caught up to, even if he had won, they wouldn't have been state champions.
Really?
They're independent. They're a private school.
Right. Then they have to go on to federations or something?
They were racing for a chance to go to federations.
Anyway, I know that's not Disney related, but
it's really
thank
cool.
you for listening.
It's really cool.
I'm
very excited for you.
Thanks.
I kind of think in my head, what I was thinking was, we can just put like Goofy going across. Racing Goofy.
Yes.
We can put Racing Goofy going across, and we have. I guarantee you, we have some listeners who are into the Run Disney events, which your son could do that too because he's actually not as good at sprints, which what he won basically.
He's gotten better.
But he's much better at
distance.
So
yeah.
But anyway, we'll get away from the sports. We got some stuff happening this week.
Yes.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Did you see so we got the fun map 2 weeks ago.
Yes, which we extensively discussed on Patreon if you want to go and check that out.
And this week we got updated artwork for
Monsters Inc. Land. Yes. Does it have a name?
I thought it was just Monsters Inc. Land. I don't know. Monstropolis.
That's probably that's like the most obvious logical
thing. Yeah, it's probably Monstropolis.
I'm sure it is.
The updated artwork. I watched Mickey Views. Braden from Mickey Views.
We watched Braden.
He did a deep dive on it, and I liked what he had to say. It was sometimes he can get a little bit critical.
Sure. Well, a lot of them do. The other one we like to watch gets
very critical.
I have to fast forward sometimes.
Yeah. But his critique was very good. Other than he just was saying like, what are they going to do with this? This is the only thing I don't see. Mm-hmm. He's like, this is clearly not an actual rendering because he was talking about the ride building for the coaster, the door coaster, and he said it's that rendering is not tall enough. So
think Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind.
Right. So he's like, I don't understand. Like in the artwork, it doesn't show that it's taller. So what are they going to do?
Right.
And I was watching it with my wife, and I started thinking. I go, well, it doesn't. It can be a warehouse because it's literally the Laugh Factory. Mm-hmm. It's supposed to look like a factory,
and it can look like a factory instead of hiding it with like green or blue or whatever.
Right. So it could look actually like a factory.
Did he mention anything about Harryhausen's the sushi joint? Is that still part of the artwork?
Yeah. He just said that it's that he felt that it was very clear they were now this artwork was reflecting more of the not cost effective design. So like that building was very minimally changed structure wise, so they can just reuse the kitchens, they can reuse the infrastructure that's there
for Mama Melrose.
Yes. Likewise, the front where you enter, in the initial artwork there was an archway as you entered into Monstropolis.
Now there isn't.
There isn't an archway. It still has the pillars, and the pillars kind of look. He said they were reminiscent of the ones that you'd see over by Dinosaur, the ride.
Okay,
but that's a cost. That's another example of a cost saving. Sure. Instead of building this big grand arc, you have this. He also pointed out a few other things. I'm not going to spoil his whole, go watch it. I think everybody should go watch it because it was a very good deep dive.
Mickey Views is the name of his station.
Mickey Views.
He does a good job.
He does. It's almost like he's doing a newscast. He's sitting there at a desk doing a newscast.
And that's what I like. Yeah. I like the ones that we're obviously different. The whole point is this literally our show is opinions.
Yes, correct.
That's what it's built on the lists. But a lot of times I just want the news. But anyway,
it was really good because he went through and did point out all the changes because it's hard to look at that and figure out what all the changes are.
Last question. So, did he mention where Muppet Vision was? Mm-hmm. Did he mention that has potential to be Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor?
He did.
Huh.
He did. The name has changed. It was Monstro was the name initially.
Right. It was that vertical banner. Now sign. Now
that vertical banner says the Glob, as in like the Globe, like Globe Theater, think Shakespeare.
Interesting.
And it's a very clear indication when you look at some of the logos that it's one eye, almost like the CBS eye. Kind of almost looks like that.
Like a Mike Wazowski.
Exactly. And he made a comment that I don't know anybody, but, one of those kind of comments and said, this has the potential to be a very Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor like show. And it was, so I think
could even be something different, but same.
He said, yes. I mean, basically he was saying that that's what he thinks it's going to be is like that.
Okay.
I think I was onto something a little bit when I said, I think that's moving, but so he went into that. He did talk about that actually, which I thought was interesting.
Great.
But what else happened? I'm trying to think. We had another
Jeez.
Piece of information. Oh,
gosh.
yes, I know what it was. The walls at Test Track came down.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
So now they're back to the Disney's favorite planter boxes. Okay. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do.
The boxwoods in a planter.
The rollaway trees. The rollaway bushes or whatever.
Yes. So those, and guess what? The facade of the building as well as the logo is exactly like what the concept art was.
Oh.
This is the second time in a row. Geo82 came out. It looks just like the concept art. This is coming out, or this came out. It looks just like the concept art. 2 times in a row, Disney has done something that looks like the concept art after years of overpromising, under-delivering. So it looks like it looks like you might be able to ride Test Track when you go.
Did we talk about the Walt Disney Railroad in Magic Kingdom? How it's going to become a shuttle and go forwards and backwards?
It's going into shuttle mode. Yep. Yeah. And they're actually turning some of the benches so that like they're like facing, like I'm facing this way.
Sure.
This way.
For people that don't want to be riding backwards.
Right.
Well, there's a lot of rides we talked about last week that go backwards.
Right, yes.
So if you haven't listened to our surprise episode, go back and listen to that one. We talk a lot about going backwards.
We talk about going backwards.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about that, but I do find that interesting.
I find that really interesting.
It's not the first time it's happened.
Well, they could have just shut it down. They're not shutting it down.
I think
now
after
just becoming.
Yeah.
You know, what term did you use?
It's shuttle mode.
A shuttle.
It's in shuttle mode. Okay. They actually have it's actually like it's happened before, so they actually, it's their version of B mode.
I'm glad I can still ride
I'm a little confused as to why they didn't run it in shuttle mode for all those years.
That's what I'm saying.
When they built Tron.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Whatever.
But I guess it's also good for people who don't like spoilers because we won't see behind the scenes.
Yeah, true.
And I think that logistically that would have been very difficult. So it's basically, for those of you who don't know what we mean by shuttle mode, the train is going to go to the Frontierland station, is my understanding. When it gets there, it's going to go backward all the way back to Main Street. So it won't continue on through like to Storybook Circus or Tomorrowland, whatever. I think is that considered Tomorrowland now, or is that considered
Storybook? Couldn't they go backwards from Main Street all the way to Tomorrowland?
I mean, they could. I don't think they're going to.
I didn't hear that either. Yeah. I'm just curious.
Yeah. So
okay.
All right.
Halftime?
I think that's pretty much all the things that we've got for news. So we're going to head off to the halftime. And the halftime show is always brought to you by our patrons over at patreon.com/DizListPod. We'll see you after the break. Welcome back. This week we're going to talk about jobs, top 5 jobs.
Did I throw you off?
A little bit. The top 5 jobs that we want to do at Walt Disney World.
Yes.
If we applied for jobs, what jobs would we put on our application? What roles, I believe, was the correct title at Disney World, as you would be a cast member. So what roles do we want to play on the stage of Walt Disney World?
Question before we start. We didn't discuss this.
We haven't. We have discussed nothing about our list.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that I didn't put Imagineer or anything. I just put like cast members.
Correct.
Like what okay.
Correct. I did not touch
I only did cast member jobs.
Yeah.
Okay,
yes,
me
correct.
too.
So
good. We're on the same page.
For listeners, I think it's safe to say that both of us would prefer of any job to be CEO, and then second to be an Imagineer.
Yes.
Okay. So, but this is
agree.
But this is literally at Walt Disney World. Like you're a cast member. You're not Josh Tomorrow. You're not. No, that's not what we are. We're actually on stage, so to speak.
And like I said, I'm retiring in a handful of years, maybe 2 handfuls of years.
Yeah, 2 handfuls, I believe.
I would love. Yes, it is, and I would love to do any of these jobs. These would be fun to me, and our list may differ depending on us and our personalities.
I'm certain that
my number one.
Yes, yeah,
of course you do.
I think every listener knows you're number one.
Yeah,
but
I don't know.
Every longtime listener knows you're number one. I think that we have 2 that might overlap, and that would be it.
Okay. My number 5 we just talked about in the first half of the show.
Okay.
I would want to do. I would want to be one of the monsters in Monsters Inc. laugh floor. because
you would be great.
Because I feel like from being a teacher for so long, and especially teaching middle school, I have fast, witty like jokes that are dad jokes.
Yeah, they're dad jokes.
I feel like I can fire back and I can react to people in real time fairly well. The people who do that are pros. I don't think I could be, maybe with training I could be as good as the people who voice the monsters on Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor. I can do some funny voices if I need to, but I would really, really enjoy doing that job.
You'd be really good at it, actually.
That would be a lot of fun for me.
I do agree that being a teacher preps you for that because they're all dad jokes. You know?
They're all dad jokes, and you never know what's about to happen. Everything is always a surprise. I mean, law enforcement's like that. There's a lot of jobs that are like that, but you have to react. Yeah.
Recently, I've been killing it with the dad jokes in class.
In what way?
We had
good or bad?
We had a question the other day that we're practicing for our end of the year math test, and it had to do with like so and so has this much change of nickels and dimes, and I said I can never figure this problem out. And they're like, why can't you figure it out? I was like, I've never even had a nickel. They're like, what? I'm like, yeah, I'm Nicholas. And they're like, you've got to be kidding me. Like,
it's only funny if they know your name.
Yeah, I mean, most of them do. Yeah.
Well, some kids know their first names. Occasionally, I have a kid go, "What is your first name?" And I'm like, but then I go weird. I go Robert, and they go, "What?" Yeah, which
Roberto.
I never go by that.
All right.
What do you got for 5?
My 5 is I think it would be fun. And I think it'd be fun to be a character, and here's why. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I don't want to be a face character. I don't want to have to talk to people, but I feel like you can be as goofy or as insane as you want, really, inside of this costume because nobody knows who you are, right? You're completely anonymous, and have you ever seen anybody like mad that they're meeting a character? I don't think so.
Right, no.
So like... You're not...
Well, other than really, really little kids, but that doesn't count.
Well, I'm not talking about crying. I'm talking about being mad.
No, not mad. No.
And so, like, it's... Because of that, like, if you worked... Like, spoiler alert, front desk clerk is not on here. Because I don't want to deal with the people who are mad that their room's not ready. So, like, I've never seen anybody mad to meet the character. So, no. I think it'd be fun. I think it... Now, I'll preface it with... I want to work in an air-conditioned location or have an air-conditioned suit. I don't want to have to be in the 90-degree weather on Main Street meeting and greeting. But, yeah, I think being a character would be really cool. Being a friend of a character, as they have to say.
I have this on my list also.
Oh, really?
I have it at number 3, so I'll just talk about it a little bit now.
Okay, go ahead.
So I'll go out of order a little bit so we can discuss it together. I had 2 in particular that I wanted to do.
Okay, I can guess. Can I guess?
Sure.
I think you want to be Mickey.
No.
Okay.
I'm too tall, I think.
Oh, well, yeah.
I think I'm too tall. I'm trying to think of ones I would actually work.
Okay, then Goofy.
Yep.
And Pluto.
Yes.
Because those are taller characters.
Yes. Yeah. I thought I could end up doing both.
Yeah.
I think those would be good for me. And I'm not tall. I'm like 5'11".
No, but they're 5. Like they have to be. I think it's like 5'2" or 5'3".
Yeah.
It's like a very strict.
It is.
Like you have to be smaller than Tom Cruise.
Yeah, but I had that too. I also had that on my list. So I wanted to jump to it because I completely agree with you. It'd be so much fun. Hot, sure, yeah, it'd be hot, but I don't know what kind of cooling systems they have in there or if they have anything at all.
We used to work with somebody who was a friend of a character.
Oh yes, she was an elementary school teacher.
Yes, yeah. She was a friend of Donald.
Huh.
Yep. So, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is. I talk all day. You do too. We talk and talk and talk and talk and talk.
Yeah.
So we can do that. We're trained to do that.
Yep.
And we also teach. So a teaching job that I think I would really enjoy would be the safari driver. And if I was, you're smiling.
Okay, so go ahead.
Yeah. So I think the safari driver would be great. Obviously, I can multitask while I'm teaching, and this is just kind of another behind the scenes, behind the curtain thing. And I know you do the same thing while we're teaching. Sometimes our heads go on sort of autopilot, and the information is coming out of our mouth. But while that's happening, we're scanning the room for who is trying to sneak being on their phone or who's throwing stuff.
Absolutely.
So we're multitasking, and I'm not sure if that's the exact term for it, but could we drive and talk at the same time? Yeah. Sure. And if I don't have to be, the disciplinarian and I'm just driving and talking, I'm good.
Yeah. I agree.
Because that extra layer of anxiety with having to tell people to sit down or whatever, like if that's gone, I feel like I could nail this. Don't you?
I agree. That's why I have it at number 3. So I'll talk about that at the same time.
Yeah,
so both of our number 3s are out.
Sure.
I 100% that's my favorite long attraction. So what I mean by that is like there's Carousel of Progress, there's the People Mover, there's shows and stuff. But my favorite long attraction that takes you, I mean, it can take forever if you have a herd of. Go ahead.
The average time is between 18 and 22 minutes for the safari, depending on if they have to stop for animals crossing, like zebra area.
I could do, and that's the other thing is this, I don't think I'd ever get bored of it. Like, you're doing a loop, but every time you do the loop, it's different. You can hear it in the voices of those drivers when they get excited because I have not seen this before. Or, oh, wow, look at this. And,
oh, the rhino's in the middle of the road. Oh, we're going to wait a minute.
It's tough to time your trip as a guest. But if you're the cast member driving, you get to see the rainy day ones. You get to see the ones where it's cool out. You get to see the ones where it's early morning, the ones where it's late at night. You see all of it, and I don't think I would ever get bored of it, honestly. So I 100% agree. And the talking about the animals as you go, that would be, like you say, when we go into autopilot and we're just doing our thing as teachers, and you don't even, you've taught the same lesson for 5, 6, 7, sometimes 15 years, especially with math, a lot of the same stuff. You can go on autopilot and while you're teaching, you're doing the other stuff. If you're doing that loop and you're used to driving that loop and you know where the animals are, you're kind of on autopilot and talking about them, and you can make somebody's safari. I had a really good safari driver last year that just made it so much better. So yeah, that was my number 3, and it was your number 4, correct?
Yes. So my number 3 I talked about earlier, and that's being a walk around character. So my number 3 was canceled. Your number 3,
right? My number 3 was the safari driver that you just said. So my number 4,
right?
So back to my number 4.
Okay,
I'm on track. I got where we're
You're
at.
the numbers guy as opposed to me.
Yeah. So my number 4 is I would like to be a chef or bartender at Disney. So I would love to be a mixologist. I would love to be, whether it's over in at CityWorks and do what I call those people beer tenders. They just happen to know all the stuff about the beer.
Did you make that up because it's too good?
That's a real thing. That's a real thing. Or a chef specifically. If I was going to be a chef, I would like to be a chef at either of the barbecue places. So whether that's at Flame Tree or over at Regal Eagle.
I like them both.
These are things that I like doing, right? They're hobbies of mine anyway. And so I think that'd be fun to be, to do that at a place like Disney where you have a little bit bigger of a budget too.
Yep.
So I've always wanted to be a professional barbecue chef. I think it'd be really cool. And bartender is close to that as far as my level of geekiness with the geeking out on the different cocktails. So I think that would be a lot of fun. That's my number 4 is a chef or bartender somewhere in Disney.
That's great.
Yeah.
Didn't even think of that. That's a great idea. So now we bump to my number 2.
We're going to go all the way up to number 2 because both of our number 3s are gone.
So there's a fun fact built into this one, and it's a Disney related fun fact. So my number 2, I'll say what it is, and then I'll tell you the fun fact about that.
I suspect, and I can't read your list because my eyes are horrible, even though it's visible to me. I suspect we might match up on one of these.
Okay. Number 2 is the Frozen stage show narrator.
No,
you know how there's 2 narrators that come out? I would love that job. I would love it.
You'd be good at it because of the same reason that you'd be good at the laugh floor.
Right. So in general, teachers are performers.
We're on stage.
I don't have a ton of acting experience. I say that teaching is acting anyways. I was in 2 small local films. That doesn't count. But in middle school, here's the fun fact. In middle school, I was in a Disney play. Do you know this about me?
I did not know this.
Yes.
So I was in a play once too. But
I think I was 7th grade at the time.
Okay.
Because I know there was a girl who was in 8th, and they did Alice in Wonderland. So let's go a step further. Now let's predict what was Rob in the Alice in Wonderland play. Keep in mind, I wasn't a big guy like I am. I'm the same size as my son.
So you're saying you're not Tweedledee?
Well, think about what size my son is, and then picture me that time. So it wasn't like an easy Tweedledee or like Cheshire Cat. That wasn't me. What role would you put me in?
I have two. I would put you as the Mad Hatter.
Good one, but no.
Or the Caterpillar.
Yes, I was the Caterpillar.
Yeah.
And what I did was
They let you smoke a hookah in 7th grade?
It's such a funny role. I did my best impression of his voice from the movie.
Oh, God.
So
And I'm guessing because you were that kid.
I was. And I came out, who are you? And I did his voice on stage. And they made me this costume where when I put my arms out, they had these, additional arms that were stuffed with cotton, and they were connected with fishing wire. So like I came out and I would open my arms and all the arms would open. So, so I have a very little bit of stage experience. There's one or two others, but
you played in bands too. So.
That's also true. So performance is something that I like to do, but I would really enjoy being a narrator in the Frozen stage show. Now, I'm not a singer in a band. I can sing the right notes, but I've never been, never wanted to. I think there's a little bit of singing because I think at the end they sing with Elsa in the final number. So there's enough that I could pull it off.
But they tell jokes and they're dad
quick,
jokes.
Yes.
Quick dad jokes about the story.
It's all about timing, and I feel like I could probably do that. Yeah. So Frozen stage show narrator. I think I would enjoy it.
Quick aside.
Yeah.
I was in a play in 6th grade.
Really? Do I get to guess who you were?
Yes.
Yes, this is good.
I was in Charles Dickens.
Yeah.
You know where I'm going with this?
Yes.
I was in the Christmas show.
Did you have a crutch?
I did not have a crutch.
Oh, so you're not Tiny Tim?
No.
Oh. You were Ebenezer Scrooge.
Hell yeah, I was.
Of course you were.
It tracks, right?
That's like doing a Snow White play and your cast is Grumpy.
I was Ebenezer Scrooge. God. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. And even back then, they nailed it with the casting.
That's so good. That's way better than my story.
And people who know me are like, yep, that tracks.
I love it.
I used to have a video of it. I wish I could find it. It was a VHS though, so I'm sure it
I know. I do too. That the Alice in Wonderland somewhere.
So my number 2, which I thought, because I'm 95% certain I know what your number 1 is. So my number 2 is something I thought you would have picked as well, and that is I would love to be a PhotoPass person.
That's on my honorable mention.
So I would love it. I
would love it and hate it, but I'll get to it later.
Yeah. I love the idea of being able to help people capture their memories.
Me too.
And it's a tradition.
Artistic.
And when you get a very good cast member who is a PhotoPass person, shout out to Eric.
Yes, we have a listener who's a PhotoPass photographer.
So, but when you get
more than one listener is a PhotoPass photographer.
Correct. When you have a good one,
yes,
it matters. We were in Epcot 3 years ago. Yeah, I think. And we went up to this PhotoPass guy, and my wife says to the guy, "Oh, I know somebody from that town." And he's like, "Really? Who?" So my wife tells him. He's like, "Oh, I'm like related to them." And we just sat and talked. Now that's just one example, right? It's cool. We have the example of Haley, who was like, "Hey, yeah, I follow you guys on Instagram." Yeah. And it was like, our first episode had dropped like 2 days earlier.
Yeah, and it was incredible. It's one of my favorite stories.
I've had PhotoPass people who are like, "Yeah, I know you've got a big line, but there's a ton of you." Like when we went, this is what we want. I want you guys to line up like this. I want you to do this. I want you. Oh, by the way, make sure you go and see Snow White while you're wearing these dwarf shirts.
Yeah, right.
The PhotoPass people can really and truly make your day. And so being a part of that would be something so magical. They're right below character for me as far as
people not look forward to talking to.
Right, and people don't necessarily get mad because if you're in a horrible mood, you're probably not getting your picture taken unless you're getting dragged into it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So I feel like it'd be fun. and you're literally just getting to create art all day long.
Yep.
So for me, PhotoPass.
My only negative, and it's mostly positive, and I have this is like the first thing on my honorable mention.
Okay.
Only negative for me is being like, if I'm stationed right in front of the castle, baking in the heat for that amount of time is hard for me, because I'm sensitive to the heat. Then why do you keep going to Disney? Well, we make it work.
Yeah.
But I think that might be tough for me. If I were in a different area or different place, semi-shaded, I'd crush it.
Yeah.
And I would just, use my customer service skills as well.
Yeah, I think you'd be great as a PhotoPass person in Galaxy's Edge.
Oh, I would love that.
Because you know so much about the universe. And
I could pretend it'd be a character too.
Yeah. I mean, the guy we had this past year was like, I was wearing my Hoth shirt, and the guy was like, "Oh, I love your textile." And I was like, "Oh,
textile."
I was like, "I made that." He's like, "Really?" And then he said, "I have a textile store too." And he was telling me about it. So it was him talking in code that he does some merch stuff too. So I thought that was kind of cool. But yeah, number 2 is PhotoPass. What do you got for your?
Is your number 1 the same as mine?
No.
Oh, okay.
I can't imagine it is.
My number 1 is Jungle Cruise Skipper.
Yeah, it's definitely not mine.
No,
you know that.
That's my number 1. For years, I've always wanted to do this since I was little. I wanted to be a Jungle Cruise skipper. But what I don't love anymore is it's become difficult for me to understand and hear.
It's difficult for anybody. It's not just because you're a band guy. It's not just because your hearing starting to go.
Correct. You're exactly right.
It's because the music is not. So not music, the speakers are not good.
Recently, for senior night for Trek.
Yep.
The coach asked if I would announce the seniors, which I said, sure, I'm happy to help. And she goes, okay, we'll get this PA set up and everything. And there was some kind of problem. I tried helping her. You and I end up being the AV guys for all the events at our school. We tried to fix it. Couldn't fix it. So I walk out on the track, no microphone.
The JBL, like separate, the nice new.
We couldn't get it to work.
Huh.
Yes.
Interesting.
So I walked out on the track, and in my best projected loud voice, I said, we cannot get the microphone to work, but we're going to make it work. Here we go. Our first senior is, and I just projected as loud as I could.
Yep.
And I wonder what would happen. I want to bring this up on the show. They probably wouldn't let somebody do it differently. Like if I'm like, I'm loud enough, I'm going to do it with this voice. You can hear me in the back of the boat, right? They probably wouldn't let me do that. I probably have to do the same thing as everyone else.
Well, Disney can purchase, because, they're a multi-billion-dollar company. They can purchase better sound equipment.
Systems. Yeah.
It is awful.
Yeah. But it sounds like a New York City subway. Worse.
Yeah. Yeah. That's my biggest gripe with that ride is I'm sure the jokes are great. I can't hear them, can't understand them.
They would hear me better with my regular voice than they would if I were talking in that microphone.
The closer I sit to the skipper, the more enjoyable the ride is, because I can hear the person.
Yeah.
Because we were sitting like right next to them the time that they were talking to my daughter, if you recall.
Yes. Well, it's twofold for me. It's hearing and understanding.
Yes,
sometimes I can hear it, but I can't understand it.
That's what I'm saying.
And vice versa. Well,
I can hear that. I can hear their voice separate. I can separate the speaker mumble. Where basically what's happening is they're getting clipped because they're overriding this. It's like everything's on red.
It's like there's a distortion.
Their gain is turned way too up.
That is true.
So no, that's
my 1. It's not your 1.
No.
Is it even on your honorable mention? Would you want to do that job?
No, it's not on my honorable mention.
Okay.
My number 1 is something similar, though. It does involve transportation. I want to be a monorail pilot.
Oh, great.
I would love to be a monorail pilot.
Now, do you have to say, keep your arms...
No, that's recorded, I'm pretty sure. But I would love to...
Please stand clear of the doors.
Yes.
Is that it? Did I say it right?
Yeah. I think that would be so much fun. And I'm going to lump in monorail pilot or boat captain.
Okay.
Going back and forth in the boat. I don't want to be a bus driver. But...
I have a similar one that you didn't say, though, on my honorable mention.
So a monorail... Skyliner?
No. Would you want to be a tram driver?
No.
Oh,
no.
I would enjoy that. There's been some funny ones recently.
Okay.
Just curious. No. Continue with your number 1.
No.
So I just didn't know if you would add that.
No, I wouldn't.
Okay.
So monorail for me, it's just they always seem happy too. They're pulling in the station. They're like waving, "Hey, how you doing?"
And they turn left the best too.
They do turn left very well.
Just like my son.
I was just picking on them.
No, I am too. It's funny.
But yeah, being a transportation involved in parks transportation like that, I think would be so much fun.
Yeah.
Like,
why not
ride the monorail all day? Like, heck yeah, man.
And the view. Come on.
Yes.
Can't beat it.
Yeah. I mean, I think it would be a lot of fun. Monorail pilot is my number one thing I want to do. Mm-hmm. Like I said, boat captain would be up there too, as far as like from the TTC or even like the friendship boats. That'd be cool. Mm-hmm. But monorail all the way.
Great one.
What you said, you have a few here for honorable mention. Go ahead.
I had tram driver, which I just said, and I think you can kind of be funny with that, and you can kind of go off script a little bit and be as wacky as you want.
We had an amazing bus driver. Like, I've never had a good bus driver.
I don't want to do bus though.
I don't either. But on the way back from like Hollywood Studios, I think it was.
Yeah.
One night. And no, it wasn't Hollywood Studios. It was Magic Kingdom because of how far away. I know it was Magic Kingdom because we were far away. It was night, and we were going to Animal Kingdom, or Animal Kingdom Lodge. So you know it's far away. So
yeah.
And he starts flashing the inside lights. He's like, wait for it. When we get to this sign, we're gonna hit light speed. And like then he started playing like Star Wars music and stuff. It was awesome. Like he was great. He was a joker the whole time.
Having fun with his job.
Yeah, exactly. And it was late and people were packed in there. And so he knew how to diffuse the situation as opposed to earlier that night we had went over, and that was the night that took a woman like 45 minutes to load the buses at Animal Kingdom.
Right. I remember you telling me that story.
So anyway, yeah, I tram driver, cool.
Photo pass I had as well.
Yep.
A photo pass would be great. Another one was we ended up having a longer conversation with this woman who worked in the Seas Pavilion, and she was a retired teacher. And her job, and she introduced me to this other woman. She said, "Hey, so-and-so, come here." So I don't know how we got to talking. Knowing me, I just said, "Hey, how did you end up getting this job?" Because her job is to just stand in the back and give you information about the tank, about the fish. She's kind of, they're experts.
Is this in the oval, in the circle one?
Yes.
Yeah, cool.
So she was a former school librarian.
Really?
And she's retired and lives in Orlando and does this a couple times a week and just sits in the aquarium and answers questions and interacts with guests. And I said to her, I go, "I would love this job. How did you do it?" She goes, "Well, Disney really loves," and this, I don't know if I told you this before, this is true. She says, "Disney loves hiring former educators because there's so many jobs that they would love to have former educators do because there's so much of Epcot and a lot of the parks is teaching, explaining all those different things, and that's obviously what we do for a living."
I'll go a step further.
Sure.
There's a lot of bad behavior in the parks, right? Mm-hmm. And teachers are good at diffusing stuff, recognizing when something's going to happen, diffusing it, and redirecting people to a better use of their energy.
And even being disciplinarians a little bit if you have to.
Yeah.
Excuse me, there's no running in the park.
Yeah.
But saying it in the right tone.
Right.
That's not scaring people, but you're like.
I'm not yelling at you.
You're asserting your authority without being scary.
I agree.
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool. That would be fun.
And then I had, when I typed this in, this was driving home, or my wife was driving, we switched, and I could not remember what the name of the Beauty and the Beast thing is in the cottage that's right next to Be Our Guest. What the heck is that called?
Jeez.
See, I can't remember it either. But when you first go in, when you first ring a bell.
No, something with Bell.
Oh, when you first walk in, there's a cast member. Enchanted Tales with Bell. Very good. And there's a cast member who will sort of do casting for what they're going to do once they get into the next room.
Yeah.
And they tell jokes. And I remember the group in front of us took a little more time than usual. So this guy had to kill time. So he was doing, kind of little fun games with the kids. And I thought, I would do that job. That's a fun job. And you're inside, you're in AC. So that's the only other one I had on my list. I had those 4. What did you have? Anything?
So instead of being the character handler is one that I thought would be a kind of a fun one for the same reasons as character.
Yeah.
And then also, you mentioned the Seas and talking to that woman about that. Similar, but working at Animal Kingdom as an animal handler or working with the animals a little bit closer.
Or even doing the tour.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure they would love educators for that.
Yeah, I mean, the ones who do the behind the scenes
That's
tours,
what I meant. Like the rhino tour you did. Was it rhino or elephant?
We did the rhino one.
Rhino.
They are the people that do those are like true, straight up scientists who are, because Disney does a lot of work with conservation. So they are not just a retired teacher. Those people are like straight up, like they're a biologist who specialize in that animal, which is really cool. But there's other staff that are involved that could be that. You could be a retired teacher. So those two. Cool. And then also just entertainment in general. So whether it be at the resorts, helping to run the movie at night or the s'mores, those kinds of things. I feel like
kids in general.
Yeah, I feel like people. You'll notice a trend. I want to avoid the people who are always angry.
Yes,
you know what I mean. So front desk is not going to make my honorable mention, but like, who can be upset when you're making a s'more, right?
Yeah.
Who can be upset sitting on like you showed up to watch this movie on the lawn. You're probably doing it out of your own free will.
Yeah.
Sitting down and doing that. So I think that would be a lot of fun too. That would be on my honorable mention.
Cool.
I wouldn't mind working in the Lego store either. I mean,
that's true.
Those are some of our jobs that we want to put on our application and hopefully add to our resume in a few years.
If you are a cast member and you are listening to this episode is dedicated to you and all the great work that you do.
Yes.
We appreciate it. We know for a fact we have listeners that are cast members. So special thank you to you. And if we don't know who you are and you're a cast member, send us a message and we'd love to know that you're listening to the show.
Yeah, we might. Who knows? We might invite you to be on the show, actually.
Yeah.
So thanks, guys, for listening. Again, head over to patreon.com/DizListPod. You can join for free. Or if you, for a small fee, you can get early access to new episodes, weekly mini episodes. They're not really mini. And even after 3 months, we'll send you a mug, a Dizlist mug. That's not free of charge technically, but it's in addition to, it's one of the perks you get of being a member. So thanks, guys. But it's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow. Tomorrow's just a list away.
Tune in next time and we'll see you real soon.